right. Hi there, this is Teresia, Director of the Erickson Business Center, creator and facilitator of the Passion to Profit program, and most importantly, your personal business building mentor. I am honored today to have our guest, Ioana, with us for our Business Breakthrough Series. Hello, Ioana, welcome.
Hello, Teresia. Thank you very much for the invitation.
And thank you for accepting, and thank you for being willing to share your story that you're going to share today. And Ioana actually lives in Brussels, but you are now in beautiful Switzerland on a family ski vacation.
Yes, I am. I'm so relaxed.
And she asked her husband and her kids to leave the hotel room so she could do this video interview. So I appreciate your commitment and making the time, Ioana. Just to quickly have our listeners and viewers a little bit of background about Ioana. Been impressed with Ioana from day one. She decided to jump into the coaching profession, and she enrolled in Module 1 to Module 5, and this was just less than a year ago. And within 2 weeks of being in Module 1, committed to doing the Passion to Profit program. So I believe the universe rewards massive action. And Ioana, you are a lady of massive action. So Ioana's been in the Passion to Profit program now. She's presently doing the Passion to Profit program. And I wanted to interview you, Ioana, because I know, and maybe you can share it in your words, that you hit what, I think many of us hit as an entrepreneur, especially as a budding entrepreneur or a seasoned entrepreneur. We all have times where we feel like we hit the wall. And, where we have that question of self-doubt. And I know you use the words, you hit the wall, and I was sort of questioning, can I really be a coach? Should I continue to do this? And what is so inspiring is that you took those sort of negative feelings and self-doubt and turned it around. And that's what I want to talk about today. So, Ioana, can you share with our viewers maybe where you were when you hit the wall? Like, what happened when you hit that wall and that self-doubt gremlin started to creep in?
Actually, I had this huge negative emotion after a few sessions of doing my first complimentary sessions with the loved ones,
Yes.
So the third one, I guess, I felt during the session that the person was not really into coaching.
Mm-hmm. And Ioana, I just want to jump in just to clarify for our viewers what Ioana is sharing now is that in the Passion to Profit program, we request there's a complimentary session that we offer, to potential clients, but it's different than a traditional coaching session. It's with the intent of looking at, are we meant to work together? And to sort of get out there and practice this complimentary session, we first do it with the people who love us. And so, Ioana, you are offering this to family and friends, people who love you.
Yes.
But your experience wasn't that great. Is that fair to say? Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And probably also my expectations were higher. Mm-hmm. Because when you are with a family or a friend or something who loves you, then I don't know, you have higher expectations from you. And during the session, I felt like something is not working well, even though for my point of view was that I was doing right the process. And I was right, because by the end of the session, the person told me that she would never do coaching. And then, I said, I ended. And then, actually, I had like 1 minute of struggle with myself. What should I do now? Should I cry? Because I was very disappointed by the situation, not by the person or by myself. I don't know. It was not the right thing for me. And then I had like literally 1 minute when I was thinking that maybe I should stop. Maybe it's not the thing for me. Maybe I think that I'm capable of doing something which is not actually the truth. And suddenly, the great thing is that I realized what is happening, that I have a negative emotion and an automatic response to that emotion. And then I said to myself, okay, now what could I do different?
So Ioana, I'd like to, if you could expand on that, because that's such a powerful point. You know, you experienced a negative emotion and you had an automatic response. Because I think we all have that, right? If we experience something negative, we sort of default into something that may not be supportive or empowering. So what was it for you? What was the negative emotion and what was the default response?
For me, actually, the negative emotion was the fact that the potential client said, no, I would not be interested in coaching. So for me, it was like a failure. It wasn't certain if it was my failure. But for me, it was a negative emotion, something which didn't work well for me. But it was the first time when I realized that the automatic response is going to happen, you know?
Okay, yeah.
And then I had the inspiration to say stop to this automatic response, actually.
Great self-coaching. Great self-coaching.
Because normally we react, and then we feel another negative emotion, and then we react, and by the end of, half an hour, you are sure you will not do coaching anymore.
Yes.
So then I was literally sitting at my bureau and then thinking, okay, now what I'm going to do? And then I said, okay, I will stop this negative reaction, you know, my automatic thought that I'm not good enough, or maybe I won't be able to be a good coach. And I said, no, what can I do instead? And then I think of you. You came to my mind, and I said, I can't call Teresia, but what can I do? I could listen the class, but then I was thinking that a class, maybe it's 1.5 hour, 2 hours, so it's too long. So I needed something very, very quickly. And I looked on YouTube. I wrote your name, and I found all the small videos you have when you talk about the business, about coaching, about the first steps, and all the things which can happen, and how we can overcome this. And honestly, the whole day, from the morning until evening, I looked at. And my husband was like, what are you doing? This day is very important for me because I have to take all the resources. I realized that I need to see that I'm not the only one. I need to see that this is normal, that it can happen, and that it does not define me.
Wow, Ioana, that is powerful. I'm just going to repeat that. This is normal. It does happen, and it doesn't define you.
Exactly, as a coach.
Well said.
So after, actually, this, I knew what I was looking for in terms of resources. And by the end of the day, which honestly, it was finally, at the end, a wonderful day. Because
you hung out with me all day.
Not my husband. And you are so far away.
That's right. Next time we'll have to make it in Switzerland. Yeah. That's right.
So by the end of the day, I was not only sure that I will go on, but I was so certain that I can do it. And that actually, it was so great that this kind of unsuccessful complementary session happened. Because if it weren't for that session, maybe I wouldn't have had a chance to see all those beautiful resources, all your videos and everything. And then I became motivated again and full of ideas. And I think the next day we had a class. Yeah. And the next day I had a client actually. And surprise.
What happened?
It was a wonderful session. And I ended up with the client for a long term. So for me, it was a huge breakthrough.
Yeah. So, Ioana, I just want to capture what you said here, and then I have a question for you. So you took the initiative to get what you need to turn, I would say it's your mindset around, because really our thinking, determines a lot of the results that we get in our life, in our life. So you took the initiative to create, an environment to have access to resources and information to help turn your mind around. And that can look like many different things for different people. It could be, you could have booked a session with me, or...
Well, sorry to interrupt you, but it was that day when I sent you the email for a coaching session.
And you know what? I didn't get that. That's interesting that I didn't get that email right away, or I didn't see it. So, but that's great. You asked for help. You engaged in watching these videos and accessing resources online. And I often talk about, it's the power of our environment. What do we have around us that's supporting us, to support our thinking to be empowering and positive. So well done. So I'm curious, at the end of that day, was there any maybe new beliefs or new thoughts? Like, what really made a difference? If you could just capture it, what made the difference that you walked away empowered?
The huge difference was exactly what you were talking about before. By the end of the day, I realized that actually it's up to me how I think about what I can do. Because in the morning I was thinking that maybe I'm not good enough, and in the evening I was thinking that I have so much potential. And nothing changed in between. Only the way I was thinking about this situation. And by the end of the evening, I was thinking of the complimentary session, not as a session which didn't work well, but as an opportunity for me to change the approach I have towards me as a coach, toward the process, because then finally I realized that, okay, I'm at the beginning. I've did so many things in 1 year. So I have to be proud of myself for the stage where I am now. And I'm certain now, this is another thing which applies now in all area of my lives. The way you think about the situation, the way you see it. You can see it as a failure or as an opportunity. So I choose the opportunity.
Ioana, I often share, I'll never forget, I read Anthony Robbins' book, Unlimited Power, and these words changed my life. It was page 8, bottom left-hand corner. Nothing has any meaning except the meaning you give it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So true.
And I think the other thing we're talking about today, it's not what happens, it's what we do with it that makes a difference.
Exactly. So. But honestly, I think that because I've read this book in 2001, I guess, when I was in London, and many other books, and I never felt it so strong than I did now when I face a situation. But because my will to do this, the coaching, and to be a very good coach it's huge. I mean, this is what I want to do. So now I really felt the meaning of those words, which I read 10 years ago.
So Ioana, and I love that the next complimentary session you did, you got a paying client. I mean, what better message from the universe and result do you need to say, hey, you're on the right track? So, Ioana, just in closing, what advice would you give your fellow coaches who are, like you? They know they're meant to be a coach. It's what they want to do, and they're at the beginning of building their coaching business. What advice would you give them?
Well, my advice for everybody would be, do not give up no matter the situation, and before to take any decision or to feel anything, any negative emotion, just to think about your options. There is always a better option instead of quitting, and there is always an opportunity. No matter what kind of crisis you are in, behind this there is always an opportunity to evolve and to improve yourself. And I felt it on coaching, but I felt it in other areas of my life. And also, never, I'm so convinced about that. It's only up to us. It's only up to me. Mm-hmm. I quit waiting for other people to meet my expectations. I think I am the only one who can do that, and who can improve my life in better or maybe in the worst sometimes. Yeah. But it's only up to us. So do not give our power to others and decide for ourselves.
Ioana, well said. And, I often say you are your business. So especially as an entrepreneur, it's up to you. So I just want to acknowledge you and thank you for being such a great role model of accessing that personal power, taking full responsibility for what you create in your life, and just doing what you need to do to be your best you and not to give up on your dreams. So it's an honor to be partnering with you, and it was an honor to spend that day with you. I'm not sure what I was doing, but I enjoyed that day with you.
Yeah. You were there in Brussels, can you imagine?
That's right. All right, Ioana, thank you so much for this time. And I just want to encourage all our viewers to dream big, embrace your inner entrepreneur, and turn your passion into profit.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ioana.